Hello and welcome. I'm Marcus. I'm a crochet fashion and pattern designer, and today I'm going to show you how I was inspired by this yarn to make this coat, but using this yarn. So stick around and see what it's all about. First things first, before we get started, I have to give massive credit and a huge shout out to the artist who actually inspired this version of the coat, because it wasn't just this yarn, it was the person who used this yarn to make a coat. And that person is Ruby, aka Offrostandflames. I'm going to put all of her information up, all her ats and handles and whatnot, and you can go see what other beautiful things she's capable of, because she is not only a fabulous crocheter, as you can see evidenced here by this wonderful video, but she is an extremely talented ceramicist. So please go check her out, show her work some love. This work is incredible. I absolutely love this. It oddly reminds me of The Wicker Man, the original movie from the 1970s, not the mess with Nick Cage. And it just makes me so happy to look at. I mean, look at these smiling suns and these beautiful dragons and the line work is incredible. Anyway, if you like her crochet, please go check out her ceramics as well, and just check her out in general. Please go show the artist who inspired this some love. And in fact, she didn't just inspire this. We've struck up conversation. I emailed her and I picked her brain about how she did it, which I will get into in just a moment. But we'll save that for a more top-down view so I can show you the breakdown of the yarn. But yes, just to clear all the bases and let you know who did this originally, it was her. And this is a limited edition yarn that Hobby sells. It's actually Dahlia. It's not Sultan, but they're exactly the same. So as soon as I touched base with Ruby and we chatted, I was like, okay, yes, I'm gonna do this in a Sultan, and I'm gonna do it in the red to black colorway. So that's what this video is going to be about. You're going to watch the whole process from start to finish of how I tackle this yarn and turn it into a fabulous goth coat inspired by a fabulous ceramicist. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. Just another little quick preface before we get started. I am actually filming all of this after completing the entire coat. Everything else has been filmed, everything is done, and I'm filming all the talking head portions afterwards. And I only say that because you're going to notice the background for most of the video is going to be this felt black background. It's only a little ways through that I realized I should have put this one down because it provides better color saturation and clarity. But I promise everything else is still very much worth watching and very interesting. But just for continuity's sake, I wanted to clear that up. Now, to talk shop for a minute about this yarn, if you have any familiarity with Hobby's Sultan or Dahlia lines, you know two things. One, it's a weight 2 yarn. It's a very fine gauge. And two, it is comprised of 4 unplied strands, which is how you get this beautiful gradient. That's how they achieve these subtle shifts in the color. As you progress through the cake, one strand changes color each time. And it's just such a beautiful shift throughout whatever garment you're making. It doesn't matter. It can be shawls, hats, scarves, crazy coats, dresses. You're going to get some beautiful gradients. And you will see as I work the main body of the coat, I do not divide the cake. I just let the gradient do what it does, and that works perfectly. It's when we get to the sleeves, that's when I'm going to have to cut up the cakes, and I will show you exactly how I do that. It's very simple. It's a little daunting if you've never done that before, but if you want the gradient to behave the way you want it to, not to get redundant there, but you will have to do some manipulation with the cake. And in order to make this pattern work in the first place, it's going to require me to hold 2 strands of the cakes together, because the pattern calls for weight 4 yarn or worsted yarn, which this obviously is not. It's a weight 2, it's a fine yarn. And even holding it together still doesn't quite get you the same weight as a worsted yarn, but it's just close enough, and it creates a gorgeous drape, and in tandem with the negative ease of the pattern, it works perfectly. I do have to make some minor fit adjustments around the short rows and the neckline and some parts of the sleeves, but nothing drastic. And I will tell you exactly how I did that. It's very simple, and I think that's enough about the yarn. Let's get on. I will jump cut to, unfortunately, this less than ideal background, but we start with the red, so you're gonna be able to see details just fine. So yeah, here's how it looks worked up. Not, you know, not anything terribly exciting. It's just the back motif so far, but man, when I tell you the drape on this is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I might need to add a note in the pattern to substitute a worsted weight yarn for holding weight 2 together, 2 strands of weight 2 yarn together, because ooh, this is going to lend itself really, really well to the negative ease fit of this coat in general. It's just a slightly smaller gauge, but it's a very forgiving stretch that you get, and it's just going to conform like, ooh, it's going to be all that. So, you know, I'm very excited to just crack on with the rest of this. But it is a little bit of a chore trying to wrangle, trying to just hide a little hand injury there. It's a little unbecoming, but it's not going to heal for weeks, so what are you going to do? But it is a little unwieldy trying to wrangle 8 unplied strands of yarn. I could rewind these cakes and try to ply them myself, but I'm too lazy to do that. And also my yarn winder is kind of crap. She's pretty broken. She kind of just serves her purposes when I'm trying to wind up some scrap yarn, but I'm not about to tangle all this. But yeah, like, it's not that complicated to work with. Although the way that I tension my yarn kind of lends itself to keeping those strands all together. But you know, that's kind of just what you deal with when you're working with Sultan. You get these gorgeous, gorgeous colors and this gorgeous drape and this softness and these gradients, and the compromise is you have to deal with unwieldy strands of yarn, but completely worth it. It's already just looking stunning so far, and ooh, I can't wait to work on this more, which is what I'm going to do right now. So the next update is going to probably be like the skirt or something, which I have some plans for her. She's gonna take on a slightly new design, so, you know, stick around if you want to see what that's all about. Okay, so this isn't going to fit all into frame, but this is where I'm at. And the red actually held out a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I thought the first color change was going to happen even before like the skirt clusters, but we're already, you know, four repeats into the skirt. And we hit the, I was correct in my expectations that one of the cakes was going to shift earlier than the other, but it's so negligible you can barely even see it. And it doesn't bother me at all, because now both cakes have shifted into the next gradient. I gotta be real careful. This stuff tangles so quick if you aren't looking. It's a bit terrifying. Okay, actually, hold on, I was wrong. We're still in just one color shift on one of the cakes. Who's holding out on me? I think it might be. Oh wait, hold on. We are gonna come up on the color change on both of them in just a second. Okay, no, tell a lie. I'm just gonna end up tangling myself. Whatever, that's not important. I mean, it is, but we're just saying words to say words. So yeah, we've got a solid, beautiful red. The lighting is so terrible, I apologize. It's really not showing just the gorgeous saturated hue of this red. But obviously the finished pictures and the finished video will. And of course you can just go on Hobby Site and look up what the cakes look like in their natural state. Yes, here's where we are. Finished the back, finished the short rows, And we are on to the skirt, and I have some exciting little design plans for the skirt. I'm gonna deviate from the original design and mess around with some of the lace, maybe some pineapples, because I mean I love the skirt, but it kind of just it's a lot of wide open chain spaces between the clusters and the V stitches. So I want to mess around and see if I can fill up some of that almost like negative space. Plus, you know, I'm trying to make this like my dream coat, my dream version of this, like the ultimate goth version. I have some beading plans for it as well, and like some chainmail embellishments. It's gonna be so cool. Yeah, we're just gonna continue from here, see how the gradient behaves, hope that the yardage I have left over in these cakes is enough for what I want to do to the skirt, because it's adding, you know, it's adding more V stitches, more chain spaces. It's using more yarn for the skirt than what I do primarily. Sorry, the camera keeps like boomeranging. I don't know how to get it to not do that. I think it's the lighting and just too many things for it to focus on. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up and I'm going to work a little, and I think what I'll do is I'll just film me working on this a little bit, just a little relaxing minute or two as I plod along, and you can chill out with the music, or you can just skip ahead to the next part. Do what you like. It's up to you. And we'll see you again when it's time for more blabbing. It's not easy for me really to work on camera. I'm used to holding my work really close to my face to keep my posture correct, so I don't aggravate my neck or shoulder pain. So I'm a lot clumsier and slower when I have to work from this angle. Also, that is not an uncommon occurrence. Sorry for my hand, by the way. I got an injury today, and that's not going to heal for a couple weeks, so sorry for that kind of weird body horror moment, but it's fine. I'm wearing the video drum shirt, Cronenberg, so we have clearance to be a little bit grody. But what the hell was I talking about? Yarn. Yeah, the problem with this being unplied and everything, you do, even with a hook this big and with my tension the way that it is, I will still catch out individual strands, and it's quite annoying when it catches and I have to like just hook the hook a million different ways to get it to go through. So not ideal, but again, for the fabric it's producing, this beautiful drape softness and the stretchiness, it's well worth you know, a little bit of fiddling. But anyway, on with the rest of it. Oh, and actually we're coming up on the, sorry, I keep forgetting where my camera is. We're coming up on the other color change. You can see there, it's that little tiny knot. So now we're going to be working with 6 strands of red and 2 strands of the sort of maroon color. And it's just going to keep shifting from there. another prime example of getting stuck in a bunch of different strands. So at that point, better to just take the whole stitch out, do it again. You really don't want a broken thread because those are a pain in the ass to deal with. Because you can't just tie the yarn back together again. You're going to end up with one strand that is slightly shorter than, in this case, 7 other strands, and you're just going to end up with tension nightmares. So you have to be real careful when handling this yarn, or be prepared to, you know, get a little bit inventive with how you're going to handle loose threads. Typically what I'll do is I'll just let, you know, however many inches or centimeters or whatever of yarn are missing between a section, and I will just continue with that and try to keep the loose end positioned where it's supposed to be relative to the rest of the tension, and just try to work it back in and hope it works out. And it does. It's just, it's annoying. It's annoying when it happens. Haven't broken a thread yet, so that's good. But it is bound to happen. 3, 4, 5, 6. Talking when I'm trying to count. Not good at that. Anyway, I'm going to crack on with the rest of this off camera, and I will punch my tripod in my haste to chuck this down on the tabletop. But I will return when there is a more drastic color change to show, and maybe some more interesting skirt details, because from here on out it's just this for ages and ages. But yeah, we shall return. All right, it is the next day, and this is how far I got last night, because I realized I need to make some adjustments to the short rows. The gauge is actually a lot smaller than I was anticipating, so I need to add a little bit more coverage to the side here to get the fit that I really want. And I'm also going to take in some of the chain spaces along the back of the neck, because the yarn is sort of acting so airily. There's a lot of air between the stitches because, you know, again, it's unplied. So it's there's both there's both too much like looseness and also not enough stitch height. So I need to make some adjustments, which, you know, sucks for me, but it's going to be interesting for you because I'm just going to do a little time lapse of me frogging this. And actually I'm going to go on a quick little tirade about frogging, and that is, do it. Frog everything. You find a little mistake, frog the hell out of that shit. You got to get comfortable with frogging. You got to get comfortable with being pissed off at your work and being like, you know what, you are not up to the standard that I want, and I'm not going to take a shortcut and try to fix this with ultimately, you know, something like blocking that is not going to hold up in the long term. These are structural changes that I need to make. This is a stitch that I need to change. This is XYZ that I need to do, and the only way to actually do that is frogging. So frog it. This is, I'll be frogging, I want to say like an hour of work-ish, thereabouts. That's that's nothing for what I usually end up doing with every single project, no matter what I make. It does not matter the amount of skill and experience I have. Every single project I make, there has been at least one really big frogging incident, and that's just inevitable, and I highly just recommend you bite the bullet and you get it over with, and you'll be so much happier with the final project. That's my little PSA for now. I'm gonna shut up and hope this stays in frame so you get some fun yarn unwinding, and you can watch all of this work disappear back to square one. Not quite square one, back to the armholes, but let's do it. Alrighty, there she is. Destroyed. Come on, focus on the destruction. Well, the destruction is technically over here. I have to be so careful not to let this fall off the table or move, because it will tangle itself into a ball of hell. and I don't want to deal with that. So I need to very, very carefully rewind this somehow. Or I will just let it sit here while I go chill on my bed and let the yarn feed from here while I redo all that work. But anyway, there we go. She's destroyed. We love that for me. I don't even know what the time lapse looks like yet. Hopefully it wasn't too much just of my pale hands flying back and forth. I'll be putting up a warning for any photosensitive viewers just in case that has the potential to, I don't know, trigger something in somebody. Last thing I want is anybody having a seizure because I frogged my thing. That'd be crazy. All right, I'm gonna crack on, gonna get to it, and hopefully I will report back with some good news and some better progress. So. And here we are trying her on, trying not to step on my yarn there. I've just chucked it to the floor haphazardly, as is my way. And yes, I'm wearing another Twin Peaks shirt. This is a different one than my other one. This is my Fire Walk With Me shirt. But anyway, yes, there she is from the back. I don't terribly understand what to do with myself trying to film this, so I just stand there a bit awkwardly. But hopefully you can see how it's coming together. Alrighty, so it is a little bit past midnight on New Year's Eve. And hopefully none of those fireworks are going to pick up in the background. It's hard to figure out when to start filming because bangs just keep going off and it's really, really annoying. Also, I just generally hate fireworks, hate the noise, hate the environmental damage, hate the interrupting of my crochet, but there we have it. In any case, don't want to wait to film this tomorrow morning because I am eager to crack on with the rest of the skirt. As you can see, we've reached quite a nice shift in the gradient. Very, very excited about that. It's looking beautiful so far. I've filmed, you know, some B-reel of me testing the fit, fluttering around. But yeah, I want to get on with the rest of the skirt. That's what I'm going to do, and this is the point at which I want to start implementing a slightly different design. So fingers crossed it all goes well and I don't have to do another frogging session. If I do, whatever, you know, it's as I've already established, just do it. Just get it done with. It'll look so much better in the end. But yeah, that's the update for now. I will either intersperse this with footage of the try-on or the footage will follow this. Either way, you're going to see some fluttering around in this, and I am going to continue on. I'm going to finish watching Attack the Block. I don't know why. For me, that's a New Year's movie. Fabulous. John Boyega. Love you, King. Call me. I'm free Thursday. Call me when I'm free. I should probably edit out this ramble. But anyway, yep. Going to continue with the skirt and enjoy my movie and hope that these fireworks fuck off. If you're at all curious what happens to a project like this when you set it down and look away for 2 seconds, allow me to provide this riveting visual example, sped up on 2 times speed. Boy howdy, what a mess. Now we are getting somewhere, and by somewhere I mean literally 1 row away from being finished with the skirt. Very, very pleased with it. There was actually another frogging incident earlier because, and this happens every single time I make this pattern, no matter what, every single time, and every single time it pisses me off, but it happens, and I don't, it's a curse, it's a curse. It is my Arachne's curse with this Arachne's curse coat, and it's that I always, no matter what I do, end up missing one of the legs on the skirt fans, and I end up working, 4 rows past it, only to realize I only have 8 legs in one of the fans, and I need 9. And so yes, there was a frogging incident, and I was too pissed off to film it. Even though I knew it was going to happen, I was like, oh yes, of course, yep, there it is. So yes, there was another frogging incident, and I got it over and done with, and continued on my way, and here we are. And you can see the additional detail. Wowie zowie, that lighting just keeps... I guess I gotta keep my extremely pale hands in frame for the lighting to work. I don't know why it keeps darkening. But you can see the new addition to the design. It's a little bit difficult to see against the black background, but you'll see this when I try it on and everything. But yeah, you can see now there's these pineapple fans in between the skirt fans. And this, ooh, I really, really like this. Because, you know, for the most part, there was just this negative space with all these chain stitches, and that's fabulous. It looks spidery and what have you, but it just felt a little, it was just very empty. And I wanted to mess around and see how we could fix that up, and that's what we've got. And I quite like the edges as well. They're less, in the original design, you can see it would, wow, that lighting is so bad, I'm so sorry. But in the original design, you can see it is quite a sharp angle that it tapers out to. But with the addition of this pineapple, it's a little more subtle. So I am going to finish this up. I'm probably going to film just, you know, a little bit of that progress, just so you have something to watch. I don't know, that people have told me it's relaxing to watch me work, so if you want to watch that, I'll probably put like just a minute of that in the video or something. If not, skip ahead to whatever timestamp it ends up being. I'll edit that in post. But yeah, nearly done. Very exciting. A quick little aside PSA about working with this yarn, because I'm not going to lie, I mean, I've already told you it's a pretty frustrating yarn to work with, especially if you're unused to it, which I'm not by any means. I've been working with it for years, and yet still I will end up inevitably with something like this. And this is what happens when you get down to the end of the cake. You know, when you're working from the center and it inevitably collapses in on itself? You're not careful when you're working with one of these cakes. When the collapse happens, it is virtually impossible to untangle. These strands, they all fall apart, all four of them fall apart from each other and mix into each other, and it becomes beyond ramen. This is yarn Chernobyl. This is the elephant's foot. And unfortunately, that's just something you've got to factor in with your projects. You very well might end up with a wad like this. It's very, very annoying, and don't get me wrong, I definitely sat there for a solid 20 minutes trying to untangle as best as I could, but inevitably you have to cut your losses and just rip and get on with it. So, frustrating, kind of inevitable, just something that very well might happen when working with this yarn. So my best advice is to be very careful once you've finished working out the center. When this inevitably collapses in on itself, just be careful, because you might end up like me. Now, the more discerning among you may have noticed that we are only halfway through the video, and you may be wondering, how on earth am I going to fill 20 more minutes with just the sleeves? By whatever coincidence you found this video organically and you don't know what's about to happen, hold on, you'll see. Right, so depending on how I decide to film the talking heads portion of this, I don't know if this is even going to make it in, but I figured I should film this in real time, just to let you know what's going on as it's going on. I'm going to frog all of this, because I've decided I do not like the gradient. I don't like it going from red to black. I've sort of been having that reservation as I worked, and I've been, you know, just sort of envisioning in my head how much better it would look going from black to red. So I'm going to frog all of this, which sucks, but once again, just do it. Frog it. You're going to be so much happier in the end. I'm going to be so much happier in the end with the results. So that's also why I left my tail live. I leave my tails live, or my yarn live, I should say, on every single project, no matter how definitive the design, because I know there's going to be something niggling in the back of my head. And yep, and I was right. My reservations were right. I talked with my partner. I was like, honey, should this go from black to red? And he was like, yes. Yes, it should. And I was like, damn it, I knew it. That happens every single time. I always ask his input. He's an artist. He knows color theory much better than me. And I was like, ah, oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. So gonna frog this. Figured I would just film it as it's happening. Maybe not the frogging. Definitely not the frogging. I'm not filming me frogging all of this. That'd be mostly a nightmare for me to try and keep this all untangled. But yeah, there'll probably be a, you know, the talking head portion of me as I film that little scripted bit later, talking about the whole event after it's occurred. But I don't feel like filming the whole frog and redo process because one of my favorite streamers is finally streaming again after weeks of being gone. Any Germamites out there, he's streaming tonight as I as I film this, and so I want to hunker down and enjoy that and just start this over. Ostensibly, I could use the 2 remaining cakes that I have to do like a fake out, and I could just refilm the whole thing and pretend this was never the original design, but I'm keeping it all in, and I'm gonna let you see my mistakes because this is the process behind it. This is what I do. I get dissatisfied with the tiniest details, although this isn't really a tiny detail, this is a big detail, and I go, fuck it, we're gonna redo it. We're gonna start from square one. So that's what I'm gonna do. Wish me luck. Right, well, there we are. That is what became of that entire iteration of the coat. I actually did manage to wind up most of the red on my yarn winder, and then it started to go ka-chunk, so I had to take it off, and that's why it's got this sort of unseemly tire around it. But yeah, time to start over. So, ooh, let's do it. Alrighty, girls, gays, and theys, we are back in business. Much harder to see the progress this go around, but I just finished the short rows and now it's back onto the skirt, and I'm hoping to at least get up to row, what is it, like 11? Something like that, where I start the actual lace. Who knows, I might just hunker down and finish the skirt tonight, but I actually should be selecting testers for the Echeveria test. I need to do that. I put that off yesterday, and then I got mad about this, so I just kind of screwed with my whole schedule. But I'm gonna see what I'm feeling. I'm gonna keep working along with this, and I will report back with a finished skirt. Alright, it is once again the next day, and I have completed the new iteration of the coat, and this is the only sneak peek you're gonna get right now because I don't want to show this off. You're gonna see this with the sleeves completed because it looks wonderful, and let's get some actual anticipation in this video because I kind of spoiled everything by showing the previous version, but you can at least wait to see how this one looks all fanned out and beautiful. And now I'm gonna go figure out the sleeves because that's going to be a little more tedious. I have to actually cut up the cakes in order to do this. So let's go movie magic that, and you can enjoy a minute or two of nicely organized yarn while I suffer here in reality with hours and hours and hours of tedium. Let's do it. So frankly, I'm not sure why it took me filming basically 3/4 of this entire video to realize I should have put down a lighter background this entire time, but we're here now, and I am absolutely not starting over, so we're just gonna go from here. The long and short, here's how the cake looks broken down into its constituent parts, each of its little gradient bits, and you can see now quite clearly that these cakes are, the sections of the gradient are not made equal. You can see here, these two are much smaller than the other portions of the gradient. And this is something that I've run across in all cakes of Sultan. So you're never going to get the exact same color change placement from cake to cake. And if you are dealing with a very gradient sensitive project, which obviously is something I'm very familiar doing, that's not too big of an issue, but we're going to see how this behaves, because now I have to hold these cakes double to get the same yarn weight, obviously. And I'll be interested to see how much yardage I get out of something like this. Ideally, I should break up the gradient in this cake, but I'm still hesitant to do that because I still want to have one of these on hand for, photo filming, thumbnail purposes in case I need to refilm some stuff. Maybe I will just borrow some sections from the goth dress, which she won't mind at all. She's got plenty of yardage to spare, but I'm gonna get started on the sleeve. Hopefully I will report back with some good news, some good progress. For now, it's just gonna be the black portion of the gradient. That's easy enough. I've got plenty of this, I have plenty of extra. So I'm gonna get going with that, and then I'm gonna break down how this is gonna work with the sleeve lace. So wish me luck. have it. That is sleeve 1 done, and I made a number of adjustments to this, which I wasn't really anticipating. I don't know what it is about this yarn, but it adds quite a lot of width to the stitches. It's very strange, so I had to take in the chain spaces a lot earlier on this sleeve, on the upper arm, so that it wasn't just sagging, and I quite like the very skin-tight fit that this has achieved. I think it's just going to look fantastic overall. And I think I know what I'm going to do with the lace. So here's the original coat, the original version that the oh boy, she's kind of fallen. All right, there we go. Yes, here is the original, and I think what I'm going to do is a couple rounds still of black up into the lace, and then it's 17 rounds total for the sleeve lace. And I have, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 11. Well, let's not count this. So 3, 6, 9 of the rest of the gradient until it goes to solid red. So I'm going to figure out how to divide that among the sorry, my brain just made an Among Us joke. Red, imposter, etc. I'm 12 years old. I'm going to figure out how to divide the gradient among the rounds in this, because I need to sort out if I want it to have the same sort of width, or I guess I should say length, as the red on the skirt portion, because if so, that has to be at least, because these are trebles, these are comprised of treble crochets. The lace on the sleeves is all doubles, so obviously not the same stitch height going on there. So I need to determine if I want the red to match the bit on the skirt exactly, or if I want it to be sort of a ratio, like a relative sort of thing. So got to figure out how to divide the gradient up. I don't think it's going to be too difficult. What's going to be difficult is getting closer to, say, a chunk like this later in the round, because doubling this up is going to, ultimately, I'm going to end up with almost no yarn. And I think what I'm actually going to do is, I have several cakes of this already dismantled for the goth dress, and I think I'm just going to use those to save myself the headache. And once again, my anxiety, I don't want to take this apart. So I will summarize all that when it transpires. I won't film it because it's going to be frustrating, but worth it in the end. But I think I have a solid trajectory for what I'm going to do. So continue on. Real quick, I forgot to mention the worst part about this is going to be, can you tell the difference between these? Oh wait, actually you kind of can on camera. Hold on, that might be very helpful. Well, when I'm not looking through the camera, I can't tell the difference between these cakes, and it's like 11 at night, so I have to shine my phone light extremely close to the individual strands to try and suss out which one is 3 strands of blue, 2 strands of blue, 1 strand of blue, and I think I actually just hit them in the exact order that they are, but I don't know. I can't be sure. This part's gonna drive me crazy. These ones, very easy to distinguish. These ones, no, not at all. This is hell. I'm in hell. Well, it's nearly 4 a.m., but I can report complete and total sleeve success. It worked the first time. Thank God have mercy, because, oh boy, and howdy. In anticipation of needing to frog everything, I left every single gradient portion live after I finished its repeat. I do this in general when I'm doing color work like this, just out of anxiety, because, you know, I don't want to have to snip and have a whole bunch of tails. I'm already gonna have a million odd tails to weave in. So this is what she looks like right now. I will cut these tomorrow and organize all that and finish a second sleeve, and then it will be onto jewelry and chainmail and glittery embellishments, but I'm getting ahead of myself. And what I need to be getting to is bed. So I'm gonna go sleep. Okay, it's the next evening. I have a lot of stuff to do today vis-a-vis testing admin, but I thought it might be interesting to watch me snip all of these, and also so I can do another PSA of make sure your tails are long enough, at least 4 inches. So, and yes, this is what somehow became of, oh gosh, of all of the remaining yarn, even though all I did was I rolled this up and I set it to the side, invariably this happens. So let's get to schnipping. I don't have my extremely nice, aesthetically pleasing scissors on me. I don't know where they are. They're tiny and they get lost very easily. So that is one down, several to go. And then of course I can give you a look at the actual sleeve itself, because right now I cannot fan it out due to all of these tails tangling each other. And the plan is to finish up the other sleeve tonight. I'm less hesitant about cutting this red because there's so much, but I don't think, I'll probably use the darker gradients. There's probably enough in those for the second sleeve, but I'm going to have to pull from the goth dress for the other ones, for the red portion. Because, like, look at that. There's nothing left. She's still tiny. She's a little small baby. Sorry, that was cat voice. That was one of my cat voices. Which one did I cut? Oh, okay. Like I say, it's a finicky yarn to work with, but it's very worth it. You just have to be careful, and if you're not careful, you have to live with the consequences of your actions. Because there's only so much you can blame the yarn for. And sorry if there's a dog barking in the background. It's because there's a dog barking in the background. My neighbors. Okay, nearly there, nearly there. Who the heck does this go to? Fusion. I just had a panic and was wondering if I actually started to press record. Otherwise, I was going to have to pretend like the second sleeve was actually this sleeve and do a fake out and be like, oh, haha, look guys, I'm cutting the yarn from the first sleeve. Lies. Lies. There, she's free. She's free to be beautiful. She's gonna look a lot better once she's had a good blocking. But I tried her on already, and oh, it just feels so lovely. And do I want to talk about what I'm gonna do for embellishment? Not yet, not yet. We'll save that. We'll save that. You'll see all the sparklies in a minute. All right, there she is. She's fresh. She's beautiful. She's sexy. And I'm gonna go make the next one. Okay, so as much as I wanted to take my time with the final embellishments of this, the forecast is calling for snow today, and I'm going to visit my mom. And she lives out in the country, so she's surrounded by, you know, beautiful fields and forests and whatnot. And I mean, that is the ideal photographing setting. So if I can get pics of this in the snow, in like a beautiful rural setting, oh, it'd be gorgeous. So I gotta hurry up, I gotta weave in my ends, and I gotta add the sparkly embellishments. And that does mean I need to block this, by which I mean I'm just going to steam iron it, which is kind of frustrating because I wanted to do some before and after stuff showing it all scrunched up before I steam iron it, but I don't think I'm going to have time to do that. So I got to hurry up, but I'm going to do like a time lapse. I'm going to see how long it takes me under time lapse conditions to weave in these ends. So let's do that. Okay, I'm nearly done with the ends on this one sleeve, and this is the sleeve where, this was the second one where I was certain of the design, so I was able to carry the tails as I went and weave them in as I go. So this isn't even the total number of tails that are on the other sleeve. So I'm starting to get some strain in my shoulders. This is not a good position for me to be working in, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna finish this up off camera, and then I will continue with the embellishments, and I'll show you those, of course. But yeah, I gotta get in a better position for this, or I'm gonna be out of whack. Okay, I'm so crunched for time right now. I don't have time to add these beautiful beads above the pineapple stitches, so I'm gonna have to like do this at my mom's house. And of course, my jump rings went for a wander, so I have to bring 11 feet of viper scale to seal the chains from, rather than the bags, because I don't know where my bag is. I'm so stressed right now. So I need to pack everything up, and we gotta hit the road before the snow starts sticking. And hopefully I will have some beautiful footage and photographs to show you. I might try and film me attaching these, but I doubt it. It's going to be a little chaotic at my mom's house because my niece is going to be there, but boy howdy, I gotta go. And there is everything come together, and now you're going to see her in all of her glory. I don't know why I'm talking like you don't already know what she looks like. Obviously, you're only here because of an Instagram post or maybe Facebook, wherever I end up advertising this YouTube video. But hopefully, there's still some sense of anticipation. And I will shut up now, and I will let me from yesterday take it away. There you have it, folks. My first process video. I hope it was interesting to watch. I hope that the audio was all right. I still think it sounds a little bit shit, but I don't pretend to be professional here. I'm professional everywhere else. This is for fun, and for anyone who might be interested in watching my process and how things come together. So I hope that was worthwhile. I hope it was interesting. And yeah, thanks for watching. Stick around if you'd like to. You can check out my first video. I go through a whole timeline of projects from basically the beginning to present day. It's rambly. People seem to like watching where I started and how I ended up where I ended up. And I'm not sure what the next video will be, but I'll try to make it something interesting and worth your time. But yeah, thanks for sticking around and checking this out. And again, please go check out Ruby. Please go check out Offrostandflames. Admire her crochet, admire her ceramics, give her a follow, give her likes, give her love. She more than deserves it, because if I hadn't seen her coat, I don't think this ever would have existed. I never would have gotten this idea in my brain. So please go check out another fabulous artist. And with that, I'm gonna go and figure out what I'm supposed to be working on now. Probably something with my latest pattern test. I don't know, I've been in a fugue state putting this coat together, but yeah, that's all I got for you. Bye-bye.